Here's all the people at church. George Malonis. And we're checking out the new iPhone. It's a great iPhone. He wants to get one. He doesn't want to be filmed. He doesn't want to be filmed.
That's all right.
So what can you tell us about George?
I'm not going to do the interview, Richard.
No?
Sorry.
No? You're not going to do an interview? No. Hello, I'm interviewing Paul Ryan, who had a bike accident just over 12 months ago. And Paul can tell us about the incident and what happened.
So where do you want me to start, Richard?
Yeah, tell us about what happened with your bike accident.
Yeah, I went over the handlebars and landed on my head, and typical of the old people is you don't have the quick thinking of when you're young. It happened so quickly and landed square on my skull. I was wearing a bike helmet which was really good, but I broke my neck in two places, my back in two places, two ribs. I broke a tooth and I fractured my left hand. But it was just miraculous because within moments of my accident, the paramedic turned up, just walking past with a dog, I believe, and she knew exactly what to do and told the people around about not to move me and called the ambulance, and so I had someone looking after me from the word go.
Yeah. And so you hit on your head.
Yes.
And you hit your helmet, did you?
Yes, and it split the impact actually split the helmet down the centre.
Wow.
So that was, and I wasn't going fast. I just went over the handlebars to hit something or dropped a lever and went over. But I landed square on my head.
And it distributed all the impact over your head evenly, but reverberated down your body.
Yeah, compacted. They told me that the pressure compacted down the spine, and that's why my back and neck broke and the ribs. Yeah. But the amazing thing was, Richard, that I thought I'd killed myself at that time, but I had no pain whatsoever. No pain whatsoever. And through my whole ordeal, while I was in the hospital, I also had no pain. And when the paramedics from the hospital turned up, they did administer morphine, but that took 20 minutes, and that 20 minutes up to that time, I was laying there completely at peace, and which was a real miracle. So I had professional care, I had the Lord looking after me, and I had no pain.
And I know that in church we prayed for you, didn't we? We prayed specifically for you to get better.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
You were laid up in hospital for how long?
1 week off, 2 months.
2 months, and rehabilitation and stuff?
Yeah, it took me a couple of months of rehabilitation. But my whole experience in the hospital was when I came out of post-traumatic amnesia, because I did suffer a bit in that 2-week period with hallucinations and bad dreams, and I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't think straight, I couldn't pray, but I knew people were praying for me. Yeah. But when I started coming out of that trauma, I still didn't have any pain.
That's great.
Even when they took me off the morphine, the only discomfort I had was bad discomfort was showering and trying to bend over because of the brakes. I was still healing.
And now you had an operation to fix the fact that you had a shattered vertebrae, and you've got a titanium rod in the front and the rear of your vertebrae.
Yeah, which is about 250 millimetres long.
Wow.
Screwed through in double screws in 4 places. So I'm held together by 8 screws.
You look 100%.
Yeah.
You look like nothing wrong.
Well, it's amazing, Richard, because I was the fittest I'd ever been in my life before my accident, but I was having constant physiotherapy on my back. I was having back problems. So my physio saw me for about 6 months before the accident. Immediately after I had the accident, I was doing rehabilitation. Then he saw me after the recovery. He was quite shocked when he saw me straight out of the hospital because I'd lost 8 kilos and I deteriorated physically so much he couldn't believe it was the same person. But when I went back the second time, which was probably about 2 or 3 months later, he couldn't believe my recovery and how it bounced back. And I told him that I was a believer and that I believed in the Lord and we'd had a lot of prayer. And he said to me, "What's happened to you, Paul, is remarkable, and in your case the prayers have worked." As he said, "You're the talk of the clinic, and no one has been through what you've been through." And so bounce back or recover, is the word.
You have recovered
way.
extremely well.
Yeah, and that was within
That's
2
because
months.
of the Lord.
Absolutely.
Yeah, God healing you.
Yeah, and it hasn't been without incident. There have been a few little things that have happened in the last 12 months, but nothing's been. For example, I've had post-traumatic stress hit me on a couple of occasions, and it takes you into a state of depression, but it's only lasted a short time, and apparently it's very normal. But I only suffer mild disability, and I'm probably 95% healed. So I just rejoice. But the great thing was we go through situations, and when I was in hospital and started recovering, and my thinking was starting to clear, I started talking to people about the Lord. And of course, when you talk about the Lord, the joy bowl starts.
That's right. That's a healing process in itself.
And that's the chorus I was about to say.
And very hard to do with
I
good
used
like
to
the
think
medicine.
about that all the time.
Yeah.
And the other scripture I used to think about when I couldn't read my Bible because I lost my vision for about 6 weeks.
You just couldn't see physically.
I could see, but I couldn't read. My eyes just went for a while because of the impact. But I used to think about the scriptures, and one of the scriptures I used to think about was trust in the Lord with all of thine heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall make your path straight. And I hung on to that scripture and rejoiced in it because being spirit filled, and other scriptures. And the Lord looks after us.
That's right. Definitely.
And the
Thanks for that, Paul. That's great. Good on you.
It's a pleasure to share that with you.
Yeah, it's terrific stuff.